well, let's move on to the next one. This one's also a team strategy from T, Fern, and Marvin. This one is called Grid Amount Scalar. So this one I think is a grid strategy, and I think actually this one takes advantage of the new grid strike controller. And I think we're actually seeing a lot of more people use this grid strike controller because I think that it's a smarter way of applying the grid type strategy that were popular on sexes, and it's kind of like basically a market making strategy where it's almost like an LP range strategy on a DEX, but applied to a sex. So I think this team here has done a lot of work on formulating the math behind the grid, and I appreciate the fact that they actually took a lot of time to fill out the details of this template. So let's take a look at the video.
Hello, this is for the cohort 11. So we want to work on the strategy for a grid bot. Just a small brief background. We provide market making services to tokenized projects where we get a small retainer fee in each month to deploy the liquidity on their markets. So we do this by deploying grid bots on the markets of our clients. But for this strategy, we want to deploy a grid bot that has that would be placing orders in different, basically increasing amounts the farther it is from the mid price, creating a better depth chart, and also reducing the risk in terms of the capital that is placed near the mid price, as well as increasing the profitability. So in order to do this, we wanted to take the grid bot strategy and edit the controller to make sure that they will calculate the amounts differently for each level. So for the description, our goal basically is to create a depth chart that has more like a V-shaped depth chart that's from the mid price.
Next, I will show the code what we did. Here is a configuration. We use the grid from the quant grid strike, yes, to modify it. Here is a configuration. We have a start price, end price, and we have the side. For number one is mean buy side. We do connector is a gate.io and trading pair is a BTC USDT. Here is the code. I put in the generic and the name is a grid scale. The function is here in digital executor action, and we have the calculator grid config. Basically, it's come from his slide, but here is my modify for calculate the new amount, and I put the new amount in here in the grid level. I have a buy amount and sell amount. After that, the logic when what we buy or sell is here. We would use the target price minus by level price divided by price to the take profit. And I use the position executor here, and I set everything is here. But I make some of the monitoring. Here is a function name to format status to get the level. Let's run the code. I already set it in the script name start. Now but press the order. You can see in the gate.io. But let's try to buy some amount to make the sale side name it here, as you see, and the amount is changed. It's not a linear amount. Let's see in the, you can see the git level here. And now but have a base amount, then it's press the sale order. I think it's done. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you very much. That was a great presentation. And I think actually that this is actually really good use of the new kind of grid strike controller, because we're actually quite excited about that controller as well, because we think that for a lot of market makers who are deploying grid bots today, I think that it's kind of basically a more customizable way to implement a grid, and hopefully, we're really excited to see. And you guys it seems like you're a professional market maker, you have clients, and hopefully this strategy works for you guys. Any questions for T, Fern, and Marvin before we move on to the next strategy? Oh, actually, maybe one thing for me. Actually, I want to give you guys just can you tell us about the name of your firm and how clients can get in touch and what your specialty is? I guess because we're going to post this, so if you want some free advertising, maybe you can, if you want, you can talk about your company.
Oh, hello. So my name is Marvin. So T, Fern, German, and myself and Maxim actually all come from the same firm. We come from Yellow Capital, so we are basically a VC and a market maker in this space.
Nice, awesome. Well, I think really, yeah, really excited to meet you guys, and hopefully you'll continue to actually use Hummingbot after Botcamp.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure learning from you the past 4 weeks. We actually have our own trading bots that we've developed through the years, but we see a lot of potential in the Hummingbot architecture, and we feel like we can deploy our own strategies using Hummingbot later on.
Nice. We actually started to see other hedge funds and market makers start to explore using Hummingbot. I know it takes a lot because anyone who's run bots before, you have your own dedicated code and architecture. So it really means a lot to us that really professional firms are thinking about moving over to Hummingbot.
Congratulations for that. I'm very good that you modify one of that controller. Actually, I removed that controller because it was a little bit complex, and the logic of that controller is like all abstracted in the grid executor. I don't know if you check the grid executor, Marvin, but one thing that can be really cool from you guys is to modify probably the grid executor to, instead of having linear distribution of orders, can see an order, the orders in a certain, with a certain distribution that you want, logarithmic or geometric, whatever you want. But I think that is a really good thing to use a scaled version of the static grid. But actually, I think this was in the initial controller that I created before creating the grid executor to test order frequency and all that stuff. That if you check, then later on in the grid executor, you have like a bunch of mechanisms for order placement and removal, and so. But congratulations for the modification. And well, we are open to help you with whatever you need.
I like that actually. I do think that Fidel, we're interested in helping firms use Hummingbot better. So especially folks who've taken Botcamp. So if you need help, questions, or just let us know, and we'll try to help.
Thank you. We definitely will reach out for us to be able to execute more complex strategies.
Sure.